Good day, ladies and gentlemen. If you're getting this video, it's because you are one of our adult leaders going to TCTC this year. And I wanted to give you a quick rundown on a few items of interest, and it may answer a few questions that you have. Some of you are veterans of this weekend and know of all its potential, and it's a great time for growth and getting to know other people, for kids as well as for adults. And you're also going to get a great spiritual charge out of the weekend. So I think you're going to have a good time. But some of you may have some questions about, hey, what are my responsibilities and what are some details? I can tell you that there is an informational message coming out email-wise that will give you all the little details. But here are a few of the biggies. So if you'll bear with us. Sponsor Live TCTC2018, that's us. We will be meeting Friday morning about 8:30 by 8:30. So don't get here super early, but by 8:30 we'd like to have everybody here, and we're going to put luggage in the main building, and we will wait for our buses. 3 buses this year. It's like never been done before. But we've got a great method to coordinate all that, so hopefully it'll be fairly simple. Bus sponsors are very important. I know that it's cool to have your own vehicle, but it's also very impractical to have your own vehicle, and asking you to be a sponsor for this weekend, that does start on Friday morning. We need that help, and being on the bus with the kids is not a bad task. Mostly they entertain themselves anyway, but it's a great socializing time, and it also provides an opportunity to watch for those kids who maybe aren't connecting as well with the rest of the group. And you'll have a chance to pull alongside those kids and let them know that they are not alone. They are not isolated and being punished by being sent to TCTC for the weekend. So it's really neat. I know in my experience, a lot of the adults might sit in kind of a clump, and we have a great time visiting together, and the kids contact us if they get bored or it's needed. But for the most part, it's pretty laid back. GroupMe is a phone app. You might look into that and get that on your phone. It's a free phone app, and it allows us to put all of the sponsors in one group and shoot a text, and that one text will go to everybody. Now the caveat with that is that if you answer that text via GroupMe, your response also goes to everybody. So it's not a time to share cute kitten videos or anything like that, or to talk smack about anybody. Not that that would happen, but if we need to say, hey, by 8:30 we need to be at the bus, then everybody gets that message. Or, hey, we had an emergency stop at such and such a place, then everybody gets the message as quickly as possible. So watch for GroupMe, and I'll try to figure out how to get all of you grouped into that. Responsibilities, look at that. Here are some of our responsibilities. One is simply kid tracking. Now that doesn't mean you have to be with your kids in your room all the time. You will have probably 3 to 4 kids assigned to you that are your room responsibility kids. Now with that, each kid's parent has signed off and saying during free time they're allowed to go without a sponsor, or they have to be with a sponsor at all times. Usually those are our youngest kids. That's generally not a big deal. It's just that they have to stay with a sponsor. It doesn't have to be with you, but they are responsible to let you know who they are with at any and all times. And if they're with another sponsor in that sponsor's group, absolutely fine. Make sure you contact that sponsor, and they know that they've got that kid who wants to travel with them. But that's totally fine to let them do that. And that information will be given to you on the kid list. Phone numbers. Go ahead and get the phone numbers of the kids in your group and make sure they have your phone number. That way, if they change their plan as they're going through Gatlinburg during free time or whatever, they can text you and say, hey, is this okay? Or if you lose track, you can text them and say, hey, where are you and who are you with? Room devos. We are going to have a sheet for a room devotional both Friday night and Saturday night. Those are going to be teen written devotional thoughts, and it'll just be a simple read through and then some discussion questions to have with your kids. We were doing larger groups, but really the size that we are and the amount of hotel space just makes that kind of untenable right now. So we're going to try this year, and hopefully it'll give you a chance to meet some of the kids in your room and get to talk to them and get to know them just a little better. Lights out, phones out. I am that youth minister. I don't let the kids party all night. I don't let them break into the swimming pool. I do everything I can not to have that happen. This is a fantastic weekend opportunity And because so much has been put into the planning, I don't want the kids to miss any of that. If they stay up all night doing goofiness, they're going to be dead in the morning when they ought to be hearing some really important messages and some really inspirational thoughts and ideas and performances on stage. They are here for the program that is there that weekend, and I don't want them to miss it. So use whatever, but you can blame me. Each night we will give you a lights out time. We'll also give you a room devotional time, so that'll help get the kids together anyway. No kids running into halls, no kids banging on doors. We've had a little bit of trouble with that last year, but easily taken care of. I just want to make sure that they know that they are there for the convention, and their best performance is going to require some sleep. We're all going to be tapped out. You need to sleep as well as them. So put the boot down and let them know that, hey, Keith said it, and you don't want to set Keith off. It's crazy. And then other than that, just general guidance. Some of our kids are pretty old. They may be veterans of TCTC, and it's no big deal, and it's just smooth sailing. Some of our kids are very young, haven't really done trips like this very often. We might need to remind them, hey, be careful with your money. Maybe you shouldn't buy that shirt. Maybe you shouldn't buy that whatever it is. It's expensive. It's goofy. You need to make sure you have money for your meals saved up. And there's also the opportunity to give money to missions. So that's just kind of just some adult guidance that some of our kids need from time to time. All right. In our main sessions are kind of a huge melting pot. Half of the convention meets at any given time in a main session. One of the tricks to main sessions is that seating is limited. They will have an area for us marked by color, and we can sit anywhere in that area. But for us to get 165 seats together means we've got to be prompt, we've got to be waiting in line to go in, and we've got to try our best to get seats in the same general vicinity. It may not be quite as possible every time, but we're going to do our best. We actually do pretty well with that. The kids know that they need to cover a certain amount, but we'll need some adult sponsors to kind of delineate an area and say, hey, this is 165 spots. We need to be sure to preserve these spots. And then during the program itself, please do not be hesitant. If some kids are over there messing on their phone, or they're just jabbering away with each other and they're obviously not engaged in what's going on up front, you need to give them a gentle reminder. And if you need to give them multiple general reminders, then maybe you need to relocate one of them. That's fine. That's an adult decision. That's a sponsor decision. We don't want to quash their good time this weekend, but we want to make sure that they're not a distraction to other kids who are picking up things who are very important on a spiritual level. And then finally, electives. There are elective classes available during the day on Saturday, during Saturday morning. And electives for us does not mean optional. We want all the kids to go to an elective class. We want you to go to an elective class. So check in with your kids the night before and the morning of and say, hey, which of these classes have you looked at? There'll be some descriptions that you can have to look over, and say which ones do you want to go to, and make sure that if you've got a kid who seems to be isolated from the others and wants to go to a class nobody else wants to go to, do what you can to connect those kids to somebody else. Go with them yourself, whatever it takes. But we have a good time sharing from those electives what we've learned, and we're going to get back together next Wednesday and review some of the lessons that we did pick up during the course of the convention. I'm sure this doesn't answer all the questions that you would have, but hopefully this is the lion's share. We'll meet again Friday morning, and we'll share a lot more. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to shoot us an email. But most of all, I just want to thank you for giving your time to this weekend, and I hope and pray and pretty much expect that you will find that TCTC is a wonderful experience for the youth group, for WellSpring Youth as a whole, but even simply for you, a refreshing, great spiritual challenge. Thank you very much for being there, and we'll see you shortly.